think I can make it, right? Our moods and our feelings are our emotions are very similar to gauges. They're letting us know where we stand, what we're really thinking about consciously and unconsciously, what we're really doing in a lot of ways, right? Where we stand. So those are really good things to learn how to use, to your point, right? So, well, awesome. Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. Back to another Mindset Saturday where we're learning how to think in order to live well and live as we should. So it is wonderful. Welcome, everyone. It's good to see everyone. Good to have everyone. And we are going to get right into it today because today's going to be a little bit different. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Okay. So for those of us who can't see, maybe we're walking around or in the car or something, can't see the board. Bananas, watermelons, cucumbers, grapes, eggplants, squash, pumpkins, cantaloupes. What do all of these have in common? What are these?
They're all fruit.
They're all fruit. What kind?
Seeded fruit.
That's what fruit is.
Fresh fruit.
Fruit is seeded. Vegetables are non-seeded fruit, or non-seeded plants. Fruit is seeded. Bananas, watermelon, cucumbers, things like that. What kind of fruit are all of these?
Fresh.
Okay.
Original fruits.
Fresh, original fruits. One more, at least.
What was the question?
What are these? They're fruit, but what type of fruit are these? Bananas, watermelons, cucumbers, grapes, eggplant, squash, pumpkins, cantaloupes. These are just some examples of a group of fruits. Bananas, watermelon, cucumbers, grapes, eggplants, squash, pumpkins, cantaloupes. What are these?
Organic?
Non-cross.
Non what?
Oh, I was saying crossbred and non-modified fruit.
They're all modified. All this stuff is modified. We'll get to that in a minute. These are all berries.
Fine.
These are all berries.
Berries.
Berries. Every one of these, there's more in this group. All of these are berries. Today's going to be a little bit different day when we talk about what's the difference. To somebody else's point, all of your information has been genetically modified. Not just your organisms, your information has been modified.
100%.
Everything that you're looking at, whether it is your education, history, food, law, whatever else it is, has been genetically modified. You are looking at little to nothing in its original state. Bananas have seeds in them. They have been modified out. They're seedless now, but bananas have seeds in them. The original bananas have seeds in them. The what do they call them? Gros Michels. Somebody can look it up on their own laptop. GROS. Is it Gros? It's GROS. I think it's Gros Michel. I'm 90. Grow. If you probably put in grow, the GROS, and then look at the last part, you'll see it. But those are the original bananas.
The part at the bottom?
No, there's if you open up a banana, a real one, what you have now, like I said, everything has been modified now. You're not looking at hardly anything in its original form. Like literally nothing. Nothing you eat, nothing you hear, nothing you read, nothing. like literally 99% of 99% is modified, right? But there were, when you peeled back the peel, there were seeds, like dotted seeds, almost like if like there were chia seeds in a banana. That's what it looked like. Chia seeds in a banana. Yeah. So bananas you're looking at are not bananas.
Just thinking of the bananas that grow wild.
Right. But all of the, yeah, most places, even the wild ones have been modified because they had to replant. People have had disasters, storms, hurricanes, all kind of stuff. So a lot of times things are replanted, and they're replanted with different seeds. Right. But all these are berries. Strawberries, raspberries are not berries. Strawberries and raspberries are not berries. Strawberries and raspberries are not berries. The original, what is the color of the original strawberry?
Is it white?
It is white. Original strawberries were white, are white. They're not were, they are. They are white, right? And they were larger, and they are called Purin berries. And these were cultivated by the Mapuche people in what we call today modern day Argentina and Chile. Right? And a French spy, he was down in South America doing some dirt, essentially, took one of them, brought him back to Europe, combined them with the wild, or what they call Virginia strawberries, which were much smaller and red, and they crossbred them to make the red strawberry we have now. So it's bigger than the wild one they had. It is smaller than the white one they had, but it's red.
Yeah.
So the one we're eating now is a crossbred strawberry. It's not an original strawberry. It's not an original strawberry. Strawberries and raspberries are not berries. Right? Fruit is seeded. All fruit, that fruit is seeded. Right? Fruit has natural sugar. Fruit grows on vines and branches. It's usually hung more. Plants, vegetables are usually rooted. They're roots. They're rooted. They're in the ground. They have less natural sugar. They're more savory and bitter. Things like that. Right? They're different. And they act, and vegetables have more water in them than fruit does. Vegetables have more. Cucumbers like 97% water. That's why they call cucumbers like what they call it, like a negative, they call it a negative calorie food, essentially, because it takes more calories to consume it than you get from consuming it. So so many people put them in salad and things like that, right? But yeah, all this stuff is different than we think, right? Okay. So, but when we talk about today's class, right, the name of the class, what's the difference? We're going to talk about a lot of differences today to understand why we are confused in a lot of ways, how we can't live the truth we don't know or don't understand, and how the truth has been genetically modified in every area of life that you can imagine. Like I said, whether it's law, health, history, education, music, as far as like not a genre of music, but the type of music, the way music is made, the different levels of frequencies that music is made on, whether it doesn't matter what you're talking about. It's all GMO. It's all GMI, GMO, whatever, genetically modified organisms, information, history, law, health, science, whatever. It's all genetically modified. All right. Okay. Okay, I need you to pull one up now for me. We gotta find it. It is probably one of the first ones I sent you. It is, yeah, it's not that. It was one of the, it's a, yeah, maybe that one. Yes. All right, can everybody, she's gonna put this up on the screen for us. Everybody take a good look at this one. Okay. Can you, right there. Everybody take a look at that bottle. What does it say on there?
Ukraine,
Everybody
China.
see-
Yeah,
Yes.
Ukraine, China.
Ukraine and China. Do you know what that is?
Concentrate.
Concentrate from Ukraine and China. What is that? What's in that bottle, you think?
I think, yeah.
The water.
Yeah, well, the water's not concentrated.
Apple juice.
Apple juice. This is apple juice. This is the apple juice you're drinking in your stores. Coming from, unless it is fresh or cold pressed, all these other apple juices are, if your juice is not fresh or cold pressed, it is concentrated. If your juice is fresh and cold pressed, it means they are keeping the nutrients, the fiber, and all the stuff that fruit has to offer when it is pressed. They're keeping the integrity of that. When you concentrate it, you basically heat it up, steam it up, take all of the nutrients out so that it becomes more shelf stable, so to speak. But then when you do that, you can use anything. So now what they're doing is using well, they've been doing it, but concentrate. So this bottle of apple juice they found in Walmart, concentrate from Ukraine and China. So who knew they were drinking that? Can you find the other one? There's another one that looks kind of just like it, like a big link like that. And they're probably right next to each other. Yep. Okay, take a look at this one. This is Mott's apple juice. Can you hone in on that red part of it? If that's possible. If not, it's okay. You may not be able to do it. Okay, cool. Okay, can everybody see that? What does it say on there?
Africa,
Concentrate.
Argentina, China, USA.
Yeah. So you're giving your kids Mott's apple juice, concentrate, and it's from how do all these apples come in? How is all this coming from 4 different countries in the same bottle of apple juice? Countries, continents. How do you do that? So when you're giving kids apple juice and this is Mott's. This is one of the most famous ones, right? Everybody knows what Mott's apple juice is, right? This isn't like St. Peter's of Notre Dame apple juice. This isn't weird or strange. This is just what you see in your regular grocery store, Mott's. Concentrate, coming from 4 different continents, much less countries, 4 different parts of the earth. Concentrate. That means they're using, several things. One, that means they're using the worst apples of all time, because you don't know what they look like before they crush them. So they don't have to look good. They just using what they can't sell physically. That's one. Number 2, especially in a lot of other countries, but especially in China, their farming is not regulated. Did anybody know that? So their farming is not regulated. That means they can use sewer water to water these plants. They can use anything they want. And so we do not import in this country. We don't import apples, but we import concentrate from other countries. And they do that because they basically outsourced the labor to other countries, because it's cheaper for these companies to buy concentrate from China, South Africa, Argentina, and a little bit from USA than it is to have everything because everybody wants to get paid, everybody has labor rights and this and that and the other. So they largely import all this stuff from different places. So they import concentrate, but they're importing it from all different types of countries that don't necessarily have regulations, same health standards. Some don't have any health standards, things like that. Did anybody know this was happening? This is Mott's apple juice. This isn't like a conspiracy. This isn't like something hard to find. This is on the back of the thing. Did anybody even know this was on their bottle?
No.
Isn't that a trip? Right in plain sight. Right. So these are things to understand. Now, I tell everybody all the time, either have to know how to eat or you have to know how to think. You better know how to do one of them, for sure. And most people don't know how to do either. If you don't know how to think and realize that God made everything so nothing can technically harm you, and an allergy is nothing but a quibble in your mind. It just means like an objection to something, and that objection is expressed physically, but it's mental. And it doesn't mean mental like you don't really think it. It means that's where it's coming from, and is exuded or it is expressed physically. But the point is that if you don't know how to think properly so that you can eat whatever you want and still feel the way you want, then you better know what you're eating. Better know what you're ingesting, because this stuff is right here on it. Right? It's right here on it, right here on the bottle. And a lot of these places don't have health standards. They don't have the same type of stuff because they're just trying to get the money. Every company is trying to get the money. So they will put as much as they can into things and it not be what you think it is. Coffee is one of the worst of them. Not only is most of the coffee that every one of you that drink coffee drinking is stale, because as soon as you pull it off the leaf, it starts dying. And unless you have a coffee thing in your backyard and it's already gone a couple days, it doesn't matter when they brew it. That doesn't matter. It starts dying when it's pulled off the vine. It's losing freshness from that moment, not when it's brewed. That's the truth. The other stuff is not the truth. So if you are to buy some coffee, make sure you buy whole beans and not ground, because ground, they're putting sawdust in there. They're putting twigs in there, leaves in there. They put all kinds of stuff in there just to fill it up as emulsifiers. And there's a certain amount of everything, like I talked about with cereal. You can have up to, was it 100 and something rat hairs that are allowable in cereal? Just because of where they're making the cereal in these factories, and they understand they can't keep the rodents out, so they allow a certain amount that they say is okay for your health. So I don't mean to be ominous here or dark this morning, but I want you to understand there is what we think and what's real, and that's going to be the underlying tying message in everything. There's a difference between what we think and what's real, and a lot of times we don't get the results that we're looking for, even though we've given great effort, because what we think is not real. It's not the truth. And without the truth, you'll never be free, ever. Your effort doesn't do that. Your morality doesn't do it. Your ethics don't do it. Without the truth, you'll never be free. Right? The truth doesn't care about your personality or anything else. What you identify as, insane, crazy, man, woman, boy, cat, dog, doesn't matter. The law doesn't care. The truth is the only thing that sets you free. So we have to make sure we are aware of what that is in every area that we're participating in to get our desired outcome, realizing that effort and morals and ethics don't override the truth. Good to put it with it, but not instead of it. Right? So that's another one. You know how they say, let's toast, right? They say, let's toast, or let's give a toast. Does anybody know where that came from? Anybody know why they say that?
I have no clue.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's the point. Is to make all of us think. If I thought we all knew it, we wouldn't be doing it. All right. What else? Anybody else? Sometimes Kari knew last week about your boy Charles. Got a last name already. Boycott. I didn't know he knew that. So I don't know what you guys know. So I'd like to hear what you know. Let's give a toast. Let's toast. Why do they say that? Who said that? Where did that come from?
Is it the Greek or the Romans?
The Romans. And why did they say that?
Were they gonna get toasted?
So back in the day, Rome had a lot, people have been drinking wine forever, but Rome, a lot of just regular wine that everybody was drinking just for common people was terrible, essentially. It was cheap and tasted horrible. So what they did was they would put bread in the wine to soak up some of the bitterness, some of the terrible taste of it, and make it more palatable. So they would literally throw a piece of bread in the wine. So when they toasted, it was literally like toasted bread that they would put in the wine. And so when they said, let's give a toast, that was essentially their nod or their ode to realizing that everybody's has bread in their wine, right? Trying to soak up this bitterness, the bitter taste of the cheap wine they were drinking. That's essentially where that came from, right?
So it's funny because right before you said that, Sparkle Bailey asked, did they eat bread to celebrate?
They put it in there. They put it in there. They put it in there to try to make it, to try to get it down. All right. Did you know that England, the country of England, is number 6? Meaning they are an English speaking country. They're the 6th largest by population English speaking country. They're number 6 speaking English. Who knows what the 5 above that are? What countries speak English that, as far as in numbers, more than England? England is where English came from generally in that area, and they're number 6 as far as in population speaking English.
By speaking English, you don't mean that it's their first language though, right?
No, not necessarily. No,
Australia? Is Australia one of them?
no, not they're not in the top 5.
India?
So
China,
India's in the top 5. Who else?
The US,
China.
obviously.
US, top 5?
China,
No.
Populated.
Is it any of the Caribbean islands?
No.
We're too little probably there.
Canada?
No.
Africa.
Africa,
Africa is a continent.
Philippines.
South Africa.
Philippines. Nigeria. Pakistan. These are not in order, but these 5 are all above England. All these countries have greater populations of people speaking English than England itself. India, the US, Philippines, Nigeria, and Pakistan. Top 5 countries speaking English on the planet today. Not the only ones, but the top 5. England is 6, and then you go down from there. Right? Oh, and back on the apple juice real quick. Do you know which country supplies the largest concentrate of apple juice? Is the largest supplier of concentrated apple juice?
China.
China. With no health regulations on their farming and their growing. Good luck with that. Yeah. Good luck with that. China, absolutely.
Everyone throws their apple juice away.
So it's interesting. Go when you look in your refrigerator, look if you have concentrated juice, look on it. Look and see where it comes from. When you go into Walmart or Ralph's or Lucky's or Safeway or what Kroger or whatever you guys have where you are, right? Go and take a look. You'd be surprised what you see. You'd be surprised what you see. If you're buying coffee, buy whole bean and try to get as close to the puller as you can get. If you're buying tea, buy loose leaf tea. Generally, bag tea is some trash too, generally. Just like juice, they put in it whatever they can because they don't have to sell it. Like it's not a whole thing. So loose leaf is different. When they put it in bags, the quality is not the same.
Latoya
Yes.
put in the chat, they found arsenic in the apple juice.
Yeah, there's in China got in trouble for using spoiled, they had arsenic. A lot of countries have though.
What's
Arsenic, poison,
Okay,
rat poison generally.
good.
They use spoiled fruit. You can't see it. They're not going to sell you the stuff that they're not going to put in the juice what they can sell to your hand. They're going to put in the juice what they can't sell to your hand. So then you buy both, what they can sell to your hand and what's behind your back. And they say, here you go. Right. Last one. And it's probably one of the last ones I sent you of the links.
So we've only gone through.
It's probably one of the last ones. I don't know if time is.
Oh, gotcha. I'm back.
Yes. All right.
Sure.
Yes. I'm going to share this one for you. I'll stop at this one. This is the last one. When I say there's differences and people don't really understand a lot of things. All right. Who wants to read? Oh, I forget. I ain't asking nobody. Leslie, you're up. You're going to read this page right here, starting at following. We can't even hear. Leslie, we can't hear you.
All right,
You're
sorry.
muted, I think.
Okay.
Okay, start over.
Following the fall of the Aztec capital city, thousands of Mexican men, women, and even children were burned alive, decapitated, hung, or otherwise killed for failure to give gold to the Spaniards. Other Mexicans were chained and sent to Cuba as slaves. After the invasion and destruction of the Aztec Empire, Spain immediately began sending Spanish people into Mexico. In time, many of these Spanish colonists assumed the name of the conquered people, calling themselves Mexicans.
How many people knew that?
I did not know that.
Okay, we go to the next one. It's probably right next to it. It's the link probably right next to it. No. It's either. No. No. Where there's another one. I thought it's in another one. Did you? If I didn't, it's okay. There's one more I wanted you to see. You guys to see. Is it that? No, it's okay. It's not those. Okay. That. Wow. Okay, that's it, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. No, it's on my pictures. But essentially, it's on my pictures on my phone. Yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
can't. Okay, so yeah, so essentially there is people who know the real history of Mexico, because it's not Mexico, it's Mexico. It was named after Messi. It means land of something, but that's a different situation. We get into it. But the point is that the people who know the real history of Mexico, not Mexico, Mexico, understand that those original people look like most of us on this screen. Period.
Yeah.
Montezuma look like me. The Aztecs look like most of us. Right? Aztec was actually an insult. It was the people, it was given to a people who when they landed here, they were worshiping a different god than the people where they landed. Right? The Aztecs came from where they said where the sun rises, which means they came from the east and they landed in Mexico on the eastern shore of Mexico. And they came into the valley of what we call now Mexico City and things like that. And they were some of the last ones. But there was a whole bunch of people before that, the Moors and everything like that. And just to cut it short, Egyptians built Mexico City.
Oh,
Right? So saying all that to say, so what the people that you're looking at now are nothing but Spaniards who came basically identity thefting. After they killed all the people there, essentially they took over their identity. So now the ones you see now are what most of us think Mexico is, but Mexico was not that. anywhere near or close to it. Cortez in his writings talked about how basically black, and then he used the word black people there, how black the people there were, how Moorish they were, how they dressed in African, so much African garb, and how they had the African army and things like that. What you see today is the hijack. It's not the real thing. No hate, but it's just the truth.
Right.
But if you don't know the truth, can't set you free. It was a black man who invented the monetary system in Mexico, public schooling in Mexico, and that's what the Battle of the Alamo was fought over, was him saying, hey, you can't move black slaves from the southeast in over here to now what we call Mexico, which was Texas, right? You can't do that. There's no slavery in Mexico. So that was basically what the Battle of the Alamo was about, right? So, but just so you saw it in a book, right? So the truth is out there. It's right in front of your face. But if you don't know it, you can't live on it. You can't act on it. And you'll be frustrated in life because you're giving great effort, but you don't understand why things are what they are. I was riding in the car with my daughter, what was it, yesterday or 2 days ago, taking her to school. And we were talking about what classes should be core classes or elective classes. And so she's like, well, I think we should get rid of history as a core class, and we should have a different elective, like, and make it an elective and something else. And I said, well, I disagree, only because if you don't know history, you don't understand why something is the way it is today. You don't understand if it was ever something different, or where it changed, when it changed, why it changed, who changed it. So it's hard to make sense of the present if you don't have any understanding of the past at all, right? You don't know, like if I didn't know Montezuma was black, if I didn't know the Aztecs were black, if I didn't know the Egyptians built Mexico City and the pyramids are basically under what you call Mexico City, right? If I didn't know all those things, I would think it is what it is, looks like today. And most people do. They think it's Mexico. It's not. That's not the actual norm, the true name of the country. It's what it is now, right? Just like a banana is what it is now, but how many people knew there were seeds in the banana? Right? There's always been seeds in the banana. That's what a banana is. It's not what we're eating today. But as I said before, all of us got on this call, or before a lot of people were here, everything that you see, 99.9% of 99.9% of what you see, hear, eat, read, and everything else is not its original form. It's not the truth. You're working on a genetically modified organism or with genetically modified information about just about everything. Yes, and then I'm gonna change the format up real quick, so because I'm gonna take questions at the end. But go ahead. Yes, question.
Real quick. It's not even a question, Coach Lucky. Real quick,
Yes.
I'm on your daughter's side of things. The reason why is because, like you said in the beginning, we were taught things that were untrue.
Mhm.
So we were taught to study and memorize, and to some degree, find a way to enjoy being taught these lies.
Mhm.
Like let's and if you don't memorize these lies, we're gonna fail you, and we're gonna label you as problematic, or you are behind the standard, or whatever the case. And even though what you're saying makes sense, we're not being taught our children, excuse me, are not being taught the truth. If we were actually taught the truth about our history, like what you just explained to us was actually interesting to learn. The way you're teaching is actually keeping everyone involved in the subject matter. So I'm texting Latoya, okay, I need to remember loose leaf tea now. You get what I'm saying? It's the delivery and the message. But if we're being taught that, we were slaves and we were bottom feeders and all these things, and, the white supremacy way is the best way and things like that, and we fail because we don't memorize those things, or it doesn't stick, it doesn't feel good. It just feels problematic. I mean, that's probably, I don't know your daughter at all, but there's probably an error in the delivery of the history, because we've all taken history before, and it was pretty boring. It was pretty boring the way it was taught. It was just pretty boring. But what you're explaining, it's just like, okay, wait, I didn't know this about the apple juice. We don't drink that apple juice anyway. We don't drink apple juice at all. But the point is, it's good to know. Because it affects someone I love. So that's good information to pass along. Make history interesting, where it's like, I want to pass this information along. So that she has a point, is all I'm saying.
Oh, no, I absolutely agree. And that's why when I get in the car, I don't turn the radio on. and I don't start doing a whole bunch of other stuff, because there's so much good conversation we have. I get to hear from her. She gets to hear from me. I get to hear where she's coming from. She gets to hear where I'm coming from. And it doesn't matter what her and I agree on, that she's still going to be doing history when she gets to school, right? Because I'm not teaching her there, but I teach her with me, right? So everything that you guys hear every Saturday, oh man, she gets in the car, she's like, Dad, tell me a story, but I don't want to hear about your manifesting. I don't want to hear about you. All right. Oh, she'll be hating and everything. But the point is that because I tell her, this is a lifestyle. I tell her about all these things so she understands the history and the things of things. It's my job to teach her. I don't expect the school to teach her. I just teach her how to play the game. This is what they want you to tell them that. You know the difference, but it doesn't matter right now. Stanford wants to know that you understand this or that, if that's where you want to go, or Berkeley or wherever else it is. You know the truth. I'll tell you the truth. I give you the books, I give you the this or that or whatever, so that you know the truth, right? I don't expect somebody else to educate you better than I do or than I would. If I can't do it myself, I will find somebody who I know will do the job correctly. But the school telling you their own little stuff about this or that, cool. I don't really matter. If anything else, we kind of decided that, okay, if you got rid of history, then take up a language. Because to me, it's important that you know more than one. It's good for your brain, good for your synapses, it's good for a lot of different things going on. But yeah, to your point, yeah, that's what this is about today. Everything that 99% of what we know, of 99.9% of what we hear and live on, is cap. Is as big as a sombrero. So that's why we're doing this thing today. So to your point, yes, I absolutely agree with everything you said. Yes, Les.
Is there a thought difference between the statements, the truth will set you free versus the truth will make you free? I only ask that. I saw this video where they're setting a condor free, setting it back out into the wild.
Uh-huh.
And in my head, I said, they're setting this bird free. But what made the bird free is when the bird realized it was free.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. People get set out of jail and come right back. Because even though they've been set free, recidivism, even though they've been set free, they turn right back around like a tie step, like it's a turnstile, because they are not free. They're physically free, but they're not mentally free. They are the same person they were before they got in here. They're just coming back out 5 years later, right? So to be set free is a lot of times someone else is doing. To be made free is your own.
Thank you.
Right. So absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Let's see, where do we want to go here? Okay, so I'm going to tell you, I'm going to talk for probably about 20 minutes straight. I want you guys to take notes about what I'm saying, and to the best of your ability, and when you have questions. Somewhere around there, 20, maybe 30 at most, and I don't do this often, but there's a couple things I really want to get out to you guys. And then you write them down, and when you have questions afterward, I'm going to leave, at least 45 minutes at least, for you to ask questions or say what you think about whatever you want to talk about these things. But I want to make sure I get these things out to you guys, right? So I'm going to hit you guys real quick with a couple of different things and stuff like that. All right, here we go. So I think Les brought this up before 7 o'clock, before the 7 o'clock call got on in the 6:30 to 7 time, essentially talking about what we're thinking and believing and things like that. So the first thing I want to start off with is assumptions. Okay, so what I want us to understand here in this class is that we are not so much talking about doing new things, really. What we're really talking about is how to do things consciously, because we're always doing the things that we're talking about anyway. We're always thinking, we're always assuming, we're always believing something, right? So what we talk about here in this class is becoming conscious that the fact is true, that we're always doing it, whether we want to or not, and what we're doing it about are inconsequential. It doesn't matter. You have no choice. You're always doing it. We're always doing it. It's part of the way the brain works. We're always assuming something. We're always believing something. We're always expecting something. We're always doing that ahead of our evidence. That's really the creative aspect of ourselves. is belief, is thought, is assumption, the ability to believe something without proof in order to make what you believe become what you would call reality physically. So it's not that we are not, so when I say assumptions, it's not to say, hey, we need to start assuming something. It is to say, hey, we're always assuming something. So then on Saturdays, what we're saying is, hey, we're assuming something. What is it? What are you assuming? You have no choice. It's not optional. You're always assuming. You're assuming something about everything in your life. About every area and aspect of your life, you carry and hold assumptions. So because you're alive, that's inevitable. That truth is inviolable. It's just what it is. The key now is to become conscious of what they are and to choose in your best interest. To choose assumptions that are going to create your reality, so to speak, your physical experience and expression. That is the difference. The difference is to become conscious of the assumptions that you have and choose ones that best work for you, that you want to see the outcome of. That's the difference. It's not to say, let's start having some assumptions. Let's start assuming. We're always assuming. That's not an option. It's not optional. The only option you have is to become aware of what your assumptions are in every area of your life and to choose ones that benefit you and let go of the ones that don't. Period. That's it. That's all. Choose which ones work for you and let go of the ones that don't. Assumptions are the belief of something without proof. We're always doing it. We believe that if we stay in our lane, we're not going to get hit, right? We believe that if we cross the crosswalk, people are going to stop. Do you know how many? We have no proof that's going to happen. People get in accidents all the time. People get hit in crosswalks enough to realize it's a reality. It can happen. So we're assuming things are going to happen or not happen constantly. What we have to do is become conscious assumers, become conscious and aware of what we are assuming, what we are believing, what we are anticipating coming without having any proof that it's actually going to happen, but we believe it to be so without any proof, but as a fact. Be aware, become aware of your assumptions. What are you assuming about money? What are you assuming about health? What are you assuming about relationships? What are you assuming about business, your business? What are you assuming about your friendships? What are you assuming about your weight? What are you assuming about food? Every area of life, you have an assumption that you're working off of. And that is what is creating your physical experience. It's not the actual food itself. There's no food that does the same thing to everybody. That's why some people are allergic, some people aren't. There is no one thing that does the same thing to everybody because everybody is coming at it from their own perspective. And their perspective is what actually colors the thing, seasons the thing, makes it personal to them. That's what's actually going to make it be what it is in their life, their own personal experience. Your assumptions are what are like your seasoning. They're coloring your experience. They're flavoring your experience. They're making it personal. Some people use salt and pepper. I don't, right? At a restaurant, I just eat it pretty much as it is. I don't, right? But I didn't grow up with salt and pepper in my house on the table. That's why. It wasn't like it's like I made some kind of statement, right? But everybody does their own thing. Everybody's seasoning their life with their assumptions and their thoughts and their beliefs based on who they are. And so we have to become aware of what those are in order to get the most effective something that we have to do anyway, that we're always doing. So now, why is that important? That's important because, okay, will you pull up a link for me? It is probably the last one I gave you, one of the last ones I gave you. Yes, that one. Okay, will you blow that one up? Everybody take a look at this one. I don't know if you can. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Thank you. All right, I'm blazing through this as quickly as I can because I want to leave time for questions and comments. So please, whatever you have, just hold on to them, but write them down because I'm going to leave more than enough time for everybody to get theirs in and on, but I want to make sure I get this out to you all. Okay. Yes, please. Okay, so this is coming up on the screen. Thank you. All right, can you make it bigger?
More big.
Yeah, so everybody can really see it. Okay, here we go. So now, this is a passage in the Bible where it says, but I say, anyone who even looks at a woman with lust has already committed adultery with her in his heart. That's good enough right there. All right. But I say, so you please leave that up for a second. But I say, anyone who even looks at a woman with lust has already committed adultery with her in his heart. Heart means subconscious mind. It means in the true you, in the spirit part of yourself, in the I am of yourself. You are doing that. Now, why is that important? Humanity will say that it only happened when you did it physically. Consciousness says that when you become aware of doing it in thought, already done. See, humanity only rewards you for doing something. God rewards you for being something. Humanity rewards you for what you do. God rewards you for who you are. Consciousness rewards you for who you are. Humanity rewards you for what you do. So consciousness says, if you even have this thought in your mind and you energize it with emotion, you've already committed the act. The thought is the act. The actual thought is the act. To consciousness, when you focus in on something and say, I am this, I have this, or I'm doing this, or I'm being this, when we identify ourselves with something as being or doing or participating, whatever, that is what the people of this book, that is what they're telling you that they are aware of, that we on this path you become aware of, that it's your thoughts, not the fleeting ones, not the glancing ones, the ones that you entertain. The thought, consciousness says the thought is reality. Humanity says the action is reality. But just like God comes before man, like consciousness comes before a body, you were conscious before you got a body. You were already here. You were already alive before you got a body. A body doesn't make you alive. A body is what you're alive in. A car doesn't make you alive. Your car is what you're alive in. So the highest level of thought understands that since the highest level of thought is thinking, is the act of thinking, then whatever the highest level of thought is thinking is reality. That is the thing. That is what I now am. Humanity says nothing matters until it gets into your hand. Now, which one of those do you think is correct? Right? It's always the thought before the physical. Always. It's always the non-physical before the physical. It's always the thought before the thing. It's always the reality that makes it realistic. It's always the creator that creates, the artist that does the art, the painter that does the painting. Consciousness rewards you for who you are. Humanity only rewards you for what you do, but you only do based on who you are. So the R always comes before do. God always comes before humanity. Humanity is nothing but living, but God in flesh, but the highest level of consciousness in physical form. Consciousness always governs, rules, supersedes, precedes, is always first. So when we have a thought of something, that is what God, consciousness, that is what is saying, this is it. Humanity says, well, if I didn't do it, that's what humanity says. But humanity's understanding of things is not always on time and on point and always up to date and current. It's not always correct. A lot of times it isn't, as you can see the way the world is going. So I want you to understand there's a difference. Consciousness says, God says, I am says that when I believe myself to be something, I've already committed it. It's already done. When I believe myself to be something in my heart, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. The mouth doesn't speak what's not in the heart. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So when you are believing yourself to be something, that is how God operates. When you think you have to do something to be something, that's how humanity operates. They They don't operate the same, and they don't operate in the same order. And if you want to learn how to live well, you have to understand that the thought is the thing. The idea is the thing. The thought, the idea, the belief is the creator of what you call reality. The thought, the idea, the belief is reality. And therefore, it creates for you what you call reality, which is nothing but realistic. It's the outcome of reality. Realistic is the outcome of reality. And the creator of reality are your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs, what you are entertaining in your heart, which you are committed to in your heart. That is how consciousness, the highest level of thought, which people call God. God is not a person or a thing. God is consciousness. God is a title. It's letting you know that, hey, this highest level of consciousness, we call it God. But the name is I am, and every one of us says it. So we all operate in the image and likeness of this consciousness because that's who we really are. We're just in physical form right now. And before we got in this form, we understood that whatever we think, it's so. Whatever we are committed to in our heart, whatever we say, let there be, that's what it is. But nothing comes before we say, let there be. And we don't say, let there be before a thought. And we don't have a thought before consciousness. Period. It goes consciousness, thought, say, done. Consciousness, thought, say, done. There's no dead person doing anything because they're not conscious. So they can't think, say, or do. Consciousness first, thought, say, you can say or not. It's going to be done when you become aware of it. But most people speak. So consciousness, thought, say, done, period. Humanity says it's not done till it's in your hand. It's not real till it's in your hand. No, it's real as soon as it's real to you in your mind. As soon as you are committed in your mind that this is mine, this is who I am, this is what I have, this is how things go for me, this is what it is, that's what it is. And then you're saying, let there be. That will become a part of your physical world. Humanity doesn't count it till it becomes a part of their physical world. But that's why humanity is always waiting. That's why humanity is always waiting. Humanity is on hold with 911 forever. That's all anxiety is. You're holding for peace. Stress is you're holding for peace. Worry and fear, you're holding for an alternative outcome. And the longer you hold, the worse that feeling intensifies, the more it intensifies. The way God does something is different than the way humanity has convinced each other. All of us have convinced ourselves how things work. It doesn't work like that. It's not real when you have it in your hand. It's real when you have it in your mind, because your mind is reality. It's the creator of reality. What you call realistic or outcome or manifestation is nothing but the physical expression of what you created. When you commit to something in your heart to be, to do, to have, that is it. It's a wrap. Now it's only a matter of time. It's a wrap. Okay, moving on. That's the difference. All right. I don't know, most of you have ever heard the stupid stuff we say that we really believe is like some kind of, I'll use Veronica's homie's word, bar. I don't need anything on this one. Thank you. People say stuff like, if you ain't doing nothing if you don't have any haters. I won't even ask for a show of hands because I know we've all heard that. You ain't doing nothing if you don't have a show. If you don't have haters, you ain't doing nothing. You ain't doing nothing right. You're not doing nothing good. Nobody's hating. That's like saying you're not living a good life unless you're sick. Boy, you ain't really doing nothing if you ain't got no cancer yet. Because you ain't really out here like that if you ain't got that pneumonia. It's just the most asinine, ridiculous stuff, right? Don't rationalize the dark. Don't think like everybody else thinks. Don't talk like everybody else talks. Don't accept or expect or allow to come into your world something you don't want by saying, yeah, girl, you must be right. That's why they're probably hating on me out here because, I'm out here doing it. No, they could just be hating because they're stupid. Hating because they're, wishing they could be you. But it's not, they don't want to be you because you're you. They want to be you because they think if they have what you have, they're going to feel as good as you do. They don't want to be you. They want what you have, whether it's peace, health, happiness, whatever else it is. You don't need haters to be winning. You don't need to be sick to be living well in life, right? Stop accepting what the world says about everything, because the world is wrong about just dang near almost everything. What humanity has convinced each other of is some of the most ridiculous stuff that if we hadn't agreed to some of it and participated in a lot of it ourselves, we'd be like, yeah, it's probably true. We agree to this, we agree to the most foolish stuff. We say, oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, girl. Yeah, bro. Yeah, that's like, don't think the way the world thinks. Don't act the way the world acts. Don't talk the way the world talks. They don't have nothing to offer you. That the doctors can't help you. Medicine can't help you if you don't know how to think properly. The police can't help. Like, everything outside of you can't help you the way you'd like it to when you get yourself in certain issues. You have to learn how to think for yourself, to yourself, with yourself, about yourself. No man's a man, no man's an island unto himself. I'm not saying you don't have friends, or there's not wisdom in the multitude of counsel, that you don't ask people for advice or support. It's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that it's your life, and you have to be mindful of what you allow, what you accept, what you believe, what you allow into your temple, into your mind, especially. You have to guide and guard your mind. Like, what's in it and who's in it are important. Stop listening to everyone. Stop talking to everyone about everything. You don't need everyone else's advice and perspective all the time about everything. Most people don't know what they're talking about. Most people don't know much of anything. When we talked about, when Sparkle Bailey was talking earlier about history and stuff like that, the problem with history in school is the same thing as any other information anywhere else, is that people only take what they heard and they don't do any research on their own. That's why it's so catastrophic for most people. Learning history in school is no different than most people learning about God in church. How many people go home and study? How many people go home and say, well, let me look that up and see what that word really means. Let me see where it came from. Let me see if this person really understands. So let me look at it and read it myself and get my own interpretation. Let me see if maybe this speaks a little differently to me. How many people do that? No. They go on and put their church outfit back in the closet, put the Bible back on the thing, or whatever book they're using, where they go to the mosque, where they go to a temple. Most people don't do any research on their own about anything. That's why most people don't know anything about anything. They just have opinions, comments, traditions, customs, and everything else. But no information, no understanding, no knowledge, no truth, nothing to offer you, but their opinion and a comment. I think we've all lived long enough to know how much those help. Right? Consciousness rewards you for who you are. You have to figure out and decide what you want that to be at every moment of time and point in space. When we get bad news, so-called, what about everything is working for my highest and best good? What about all the world means me well and treats me kindly? What about everything is working for me? Everything and everyone is working for my highest and best good. Everything is working for me. I have the victory in all things. Even in this situation I'm in right now, I have the victory. And if I stay in that train of thought long enough, I'll see it. I'll see it. If I stay in the frame of thought that everything is working for my highest and best good, even this thing that looks like it's not, it's not an obstacle. It's a seeming obstacle. I think I've said this before. I walk a lot of times early in the morning, 3:30, 4:30 in the morning. I can't tell you how many things I think I see. I don't care. I don't know anything about aliens or anything else, but I think I saw a couple. I mean, cross the street at 4 in the morning and it's dark. You don't know what you see. I thought I've seen trees moonwalking. I didn't seen birds breakdancing. I thought I've seen a whole bunch of stuff. My point is, right? We're all thinking we see this or that or this or that, right? But we have to know who we are and say, it doesn't matter what this thing seems like. It only matters what I'm like. But if I don't know who I am, if I haven't determined what that is, then I'm scared of everything. I'm scared of everyone. Everything means the world is falling. Exit stage left. Who are you? Decide. Who am I? Decide, make a choice, make a decision that everything and everyone is working for my highest and best good. That all the world and everything in it means me kindly. That I have the victory in all things. That is a choice. That is a decision. Now, you can emotionalize it or not, but stand on it and see what happens to you. See how many things that look scary turn out to be nothing. See how many obstacles turn out to be nothing but seemingly ones. See how many times you just knew it to, I thought. See how many things end up different because you decided, because of who you are. Things can be much different after you're much different. Things will change after you change, not before you. Signs don't precede, they follow. Your kids don't come before you, they come after. It's your job to look over them. It's your job to look after them. Those are your desires. Those are your beliefs. Those are your thoughts. They're your kids. They're things that you have to manage and mind and guide and guard. If you don't have any home training, these things are going to happen. Decide, choose. Choose this day who you serve. Choose what you serve. Choose what you think and believe and allow and accept in your life. Choose what you commit to in your heart. That is the act. That is adultery or victory. That is poverty or wealth. The commitment in your heart to be something. That thought in your mind that you said, yeah, to. That's the commitment in your heart. That is the adultery or the victory. That's the good or the bad. That's how everything is made. It takes God's commitment to make everything. God is the only creator. I am is the only creator. I am is the only committed thing to do everything. And I am is what you say about yourself and about everything you attach after it. I am broke. I am sick. I am happy. I'm a business owner. I'm a man. I'm a woman. I am 1,000 different things, but it takes I am to be any of them. Choose. What is a limiting belief? A limiting belief is nothing but a belief. But a limiting belief, right, is a belief that you feel doesn't allow you to become what you want to be. But who decided the difference between a belief that's a belief or a belief that's a limiting belief? Who is the one putting the brakes on it? Who is the one putting the ceiling on it? Who is the one pushing the gas or riding the brake? The driver. Your belief is limited by you. Your beliefs are, if you have a limiting belief, you are the limiter. You are the believer. You have limited your belief about something, anything. It doesn't matter what it is because you're the one doing it. There is no involuntary or separate belief that you aren't controlling, whether it's true, to what extent it's true, when it's true, why it's true. That's all you. You have a limiting belief because you have a belief. You don't have the belief you want to have because you're not the person who has that belief. A limiting belief is based on the believer. So that means the believer is having a limit, has hit their limit of who they believe themselves to be. If you want to believe that belief that is currently limited, you're going to have to be a bigger version of yourself. You are going to have to see yourself differently. A limiting belief is like wearing a size 10 and trying to put on a size 8. That's a limiting belief. You're going to have to get a bigger shoe. You are determining what your belief system is. And if you have a limiting belief, it means you have limited this thing. But you are doing that. So you can limit it or you can take off the limit, but only you can do that. And you have to do that if you want to be free. If you're waiting for somebody else to pump you up, motivate you, excite you, convince you, cajole you, beg you, prod you, like my mom, she just wouldn't do it. She just threatened everybody, get up. Sometimes you just have to say that's enough. I'm not going to sit here and think this thought and think it's going to someday turn out better. It's not. If the shoe's too small, it's too small. So a limiting belief is a belief that you have limited. Understand that word, or understand you. You have limited that belief. Y-O-U in all caps. There's no belief that's against you. There's no belief that is for you. You get to create whatever beliefs you have. So if you choose to create a belief and say, let me do, I can only get paid if I go to work. Okay. Okay. There's nothing wrong with that. That's your choice. But understand you made that choice. You ever heard people say, oh, well, if you don't work, you don't eat. Anybody ever said that? Anybody ever heard that? Just put your hands up like on the screen. Like, put a little hand up like almost like you have a question or something. right? Put your hand up if anybody ever heard that. Okay, let me ask you guys one question. Just think about it to yourself. If you don't work, you don't eat. Everybody's heard that, right? Okay, now I want everybody to think about it right now. What does Prince Charles do? I want you to think about that for a second. What does Prince Charles do? Like, what does he do for a living? What did the Queen of England do for a living? What does Prince Harry do running around LA? What is he doing for a living? He's not even in his own country. Has anybody seen him be on Instagram talking about he's coming home from work? Do you think he has a resume? Does anybody here so what do they do for a living? It's rhetorical. Nothing. They do nothing. So then how come they get to do it and you don't? How come you have to work for a living, but they don't? Well, we can say, oh, they're royals. Okay, but who made them royal? Somebody got to agree to it, right? Somebody has to agree that they're royal. Who knows? Does anybody here only raise your hand if you know? Who knows what the red carpet stands for? If you don't raise your hand, I'll tell you. If nobody raises their hand, you got 5 seconds. 5. Who knows what the red carpet stands for? Who knows why they walk on a red carpet? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Walking on the red carpet is walking on, it signifies walking on the blood of the people. They're saying in that moment they're better than you. But don't you see how people dress up for a red carpet? Don't you see savages and animals weeks ago on the internet and how they act and crazy, but they get on the red carpet, boy, and they're the most sophisticated, astute, dressed up. They ain't never seen the cat in a suit ever. Doesn't look like he took a shower ever until he got on that red carpet. So who decides? Somebody decides to make this royal. Somebody decides to say that they don't have to work and we give them all our money. I'm not saying whether that's good or bad or not, but what I'm saying is the people of England, but you're giving them all your money. They don't have to work. So why do you? Why can't you get paid just to exist? That's what they're doing. And if one person can do it, that means it's not a law. And they got a whole family doing it. Do you think Meghan Markle, anybody seen her on TV acting lately? No. Well, then how's she making money? Prince Harry's not even in England. How's he making money? They still eating. No, but nobody's seen them at work. You got a whole family just eating off of everyone else. So you don't have to work to get paid. But that's your assumption. So then go to work and stop complaining. Stop crying. You don't have to do what you hate to make a living, but that's your assumption. So do what you hate and make a living. Congratulations. You can't smoke cigarettes for 50 years and then cry to me and say, I got cancer. How did this happen? You just, bravo. Congratulations. You got what you wanted. Well, I'm not going to be sad with you over the outcome of a mistake you make or of a choice you make. You made a decision to smoke that cigarette every single day. And if that was the outcome, congratulations. If you think you have to be miserable to make a living, congratulations. There's nothing wrong with it. Just understand it's your thoughts. Don't blame it on anyone else. Don't say it has to be that way. If I don't work, I don't eat. Well, then did somebody tell them? They got a whole family in a country that ain't working and they eating good. You think their kids are going to work? Anybody? No. So then that's not true. It's just true to you. It's just a belief. But you can get paid to exist. They doing it. You can get paid doing something you love to do. They obviously are doing it. What? Being kings and queens? Maybe not, but everything that comes with it. You can get paid to do what you love to do. So every excuse you give yourself, just realize it's an excuse, it's not a reason because it's not real. But it's your assumption come to light, come to life. You live in it. Period. So you can have whatever you want. That's who you really are. You don't have to do all the stuff you think you have to do, but you do until you can think differently. You do, right? Your kids got to listen to you until they become adults. You're going to have to live that life until you become an adult. Till you become an adult in your mind, till you rise in consciousness and take up your bed and walk. You're going to be sitting there by that Bethesda, the 5 senses. That's what Bethesda means, 5 fingers. It means the 5 senses. When your 5 senses tell you are paralyzed and you can't get up, and every time they touch that pool of water, everybody walks by you and they get healed and not you, you're going to sit there for 38 years until Christ comes and says, what's wrong with you? Will you find that one. It's one of the yellow pages. I'm almost done. So no, you'll see it's like one of the yellow ones. I know it pops up because I've seen it when you do it. Not yes, but it's the other one. It's not that one. I give you that one too. That's it.
This one?
No, go back up again to that other one, the yellow one again. Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought I said it to you. Okay, whatever. But the whole point is that Christ came and said, what are you doing here? Oh, I can't move. He's like, do you want to get up? Yeah. Okay, rise, take up your bed and walk. You are the paralyzed person and Christ. You are the person who's believing in the five senses that keeps you here stuck for 38 years. As long as you keep believing in the physical world as it being your master, your savior, your salvation, your parole officer, your yes or your no, you're going to be sitting in a paralyzed state, meaning somewhere you don't want to be, doing what you don't want to do, being what you don't want to be, not having what you want to have. You're going to be stuck until that part in you, Christ, rises. That realizes that in me, as me, I am the power and wisdom of consciousness. That means I have the power and the ability and the know-how to do anything I need to do. I can rise, but I have to rise before I take up my bed and walk. I have to raise in consciousness, raise in consciousness. I have to think different. That's the only way I'll be able to take my bed up and walk. The only way I'll be able to get out of this five sense world. Otherwise, you'll sit there paralyzed forever. Time is not going to say, time heals all wounds. No, the hell it does not. Whoever said that is not true. You can rationalize all kinds of, that's not true. That dude was sitting there for 38 years, asking him how much longer he was going to wait. No, until that Christ part of you, that God consciousness, knowing that I am the ability to get up. I have the ability to wake up. I have the ability to wealth up, health up, happy up, peace up. If I'm waiting around for drugs to do it, people to do it, the pastor to do it, Hope Sunday, Ash Friday, Wednesday, Tuesday, whatever. If I'm waiting around for the world, for the sensory world, the five senses, if I'm waiting for that Bethesda, if I'm waiting for that at this pool, I am going to sit here paralyzed. I'm going to be stuck forever. And time is not going to change that because you are the timekeeper. You are the time creator. What you waiting on? Everything's waiting on you. Understand that. Last one I'll say, and then it'll be question. Everybody has heard, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Right? Hands up on the screen. Everybody's heard, don't put your eggs all in one basket. Right? Okay. Anybody else heard? Everybody else here have multiple streams of income. Anybody else hear that? So we've heard all these things, right? Okay. I want you all to learn. I want you all to learn how to become must-see TV. I want you all to learn how to become must-see TV. What does that mean? Veronica here is not really that big into sports.
Just not even.
Not even a little bit. But she knows who LeBron James is. She knows who Kobe Bryant was. She knows who certain people are. But why do you think that is? Because they're must-see TV. Meaning they do something so well, they don't have to do 50 things. They don't have to be involved in 89 things to get paid. They do something so well that even if you don't like sports, you're like, yeah, got that. Yeah. I don't like basketball. I don't even like that cat. But if what I understand, if you're supposed to put the ball in the basket, yeah, he doing that hard a lot. Steph Curry, must see TV. Oprah back in the day, must see TV. David Letterman, must see TV. Elon Musk, must see TV. Meaning someone who does something that whether you like it or them has nothing to do with it. You know who they are. Have I mentioned a name yet that no one on here knows? Have I said any name that confused anybody where everybody's like, well, who is that? So then they are what I mean by must-see TV. And I mean to do something so well that whether people liked you, hated you, knew you, cared about you, they understand that you do this thing. And they must come to you. This is must-see TV. Girl, I know I don't watch it, but it's the playoffs. Or this is the Steph Curry. I heard that Steph Curry's out here. Or this is whoever. Or whatever. Jay-Z's coming to town. Or Oprah's coming to town. Or whomever is coming. But this person is must-see TV. They do something in a way where I don't care about them, don't care about anything else, but I have to see them do that. I have to hear them talk about that. I have to be present when they do what they do. How many things like that do you think you need to do in order to become as wealthy as you like? How many things do you think you need to do that way? Oprah didn't do that many. Jordan didn't do that many. Oh yeah, afterward they can take what they did and decide to do something else with it, but they don't, it's not for the money. So then what do they call themselves? Philanthropists, right? They out there building churches, making jeans, making wine, making this, but they're just doing what they love to do because they can. But they're not famous off this and they really ain't rich off of it. Michael Jordan is rich off of tennis shoes. His tennis shoes have sold more. He's made more off of tennis shoes than he ever made playing. And his basketball team is god awful every year. He ain't making, I mean, he's making a little money of it because in the NBA, but he's not. No, but why do you think people bought Air Jordans? Because he wore them. Everybody wanted to be like Mike. Do you know at one point in time in the 90s, 75% of all basketball fans were Bulls fans? 75% of all basketball fans were Bulls fans. How many? Most people don't even go to Chicago. Never even been. Must-see TV. My point to you is do you do anything well enough to be must-see TV? I submit to you, the answer is probably not. Most of us don't. Why? Because we don't want to put all our eggs in one basket. But what did Bruce Lee say? I don't care about a person who can kick 10,000 different ways. I care about a person who's mastered one kick 10,000 times. I'm not saying you only have to do one thing. What I'm saying is that we're spreading out our gifts, spreading out our glory, spreading out our brilliance, spreading out our effort, spreading out our energy, spreading out our mind, spreading out too thin. And so we're not even a master of anything or a jack of anything. We're just a jack at everything. We're mediocre in most things. Ain't nobody, how many people's inboxes are getting flooded with, man, you got to do this for me. I got to have this from you. You got to do this. I know people in my life who I call, like if I need something done, I know who I'm calling. And guess what? That number is slim. Because there's not many people who perform at that level. Not many people are must-see TV. As a friend, as a father, as a husband, as a wife, as a woman, as a boy, a dog, a cat, not many things are must-see TV. Not many things perform at a level where it is indisputable and undeniable they are that. Just not. So then what do? We hedge our bets, trying to have 12 companies. Because you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket and you want multiple streams of income. Yeah, but you have 10 streams with 2 pennies in each. Instead of having one stream with $1 in it. It would take you less time and you'd be less worn out. But you justify your desire for wealth by how many things you can do, by how many things you're involved in. So now all you're doing is robbing Peter to pay Paul. You're trying to be wealthy, but you're robbing yourself of vitality and energy. happiness, health, success. Nobody can ever talk to you. Nobody can ever see you. You're always sick. You're always mad. You're always hurt. You're always tired. You're always grouchy. You're always too busy. There's always something. In closing, be must-see TV. Narrow your bandwidth. Focus on something. You have greatness in you, but not for everything and everyone, everywhere, all the time. Narrow your stuff. Focus on something. You have greatness in you. You have gifts that nobody else in the world has. Why do you need to do 12 things? You can't be 12 people. You can't be 12 people. How did Jay-Z become Jay-Z? Rapping. How did Oprah become Oprah? Doing what she's doing or what she's done. How did Jordan become Jordan? How did Bezos become Bezos? How did all these people become the epitome in their field or the greatest in their field? They had all their eggs in a basket. They didn't have in 50 different baskets. Now, once you got a bunch of eggs, you can put them in other baskets. But you can't put 12 eggs in 12 different baskets. You got one egg in each basket. You ain't got enough to feed yourself or any of them or anyone else in any of those baskets. But you showing me 12 baskets. What are we doing? Focus your stuff. There's only one you. Nobody can do what you do. Figure out who you are and you'll know what that is. No one can do what you do. There's no competition. If they can't look like you, walk like you, talk like you, how are they going to provide a service like you? So then how are you going to be in competition with them over your business any more than you could over what you look like or act like? How could that be? But trying to be like everybody with 1,000 different streams, one egg and 12 baskets, you're nobody. Trying to be everything, you're nothing. You're spread out. It's like trying to hit somebody with your hand like that. All you're going to do is break all your fingers and they're going to think you just tapped them. Why are you poking me? You're not doing anything. There's nothing like you. There's no one like you ever before, during, or after. You are the only you ever. You have something to offer that no one can match, no one can rival. Own that. Act like that. Think like that. And you'll start to see your own uniqueness in what you do and or how you do it. And you'll see that is the stream. There's only one consciousness doing 1,000 different things. There's only one you. And you can do a lot of things, but only as you are. Stop trying to be so many different things. Be you. You is more than enough to be any and everything you want. If it wasn't, you wouldn't have come down here, so to speak. You wouldn't have got a body and be like, I'm ready. You're enough. More than enough, but only as you are. So you need to know what that is. And you need to focus on what that is. And that's internal. It's not external. It's expressed externally, but it's internal. You are rewarded by God, by consciousness, by your awareness. You're rewarded for who you are. Humanity rewards you for what you do. Decide who you are. That determines and dictates what you do. All right. Questions, comments? Let's get it rolling.
Everyone's speechless.
Okay, good morning. Yes,
Don't say
is
that
a
because I was going to
lot.
get started back up.
No,
Good morning.
so where do I think the first thing I'm gonna start is in reference to, you are so right when you said you've already committed the act when you thought. You didn't even have to take action. Once you thought it in your mind, it's like you already did it because everything starts with your thoughts.
Mhm.
So yeah, that was a bar for me. And then, well, that's where I'm gonna start. But yeah, I'm still processing everything. That
Okay.
was a lot of good information. Like, it was very deep, but so true and so simple at the same time. Like, but it's true.
Mhm.
Okay, that's all I have.
Wonderful. And so to piggyback off what you say, thought is what inspires all action. So when people say when you pray to God, you have to actually take action. Yeah, but your action has to be inspired, and your action is always inspired by your thought. So if you don't have the proper thought, or you're unwilling to change your thought from poverty to wealth, it doesn't matter what action you take, you're not going to become what you want, because your action is inspired by your thought. So all action, that when people say, oh, you got to take action, yes, but it has to come from a certain train of thought. Otherwise, your action is meaningless and useless. So that means you can only choose what you think. You don't choose the outcomes. The outcomes are inspired by what you think. So absolutely. Yes. Who's out? Who's next?
Coach Lucky,
I
man,
know that voice. Justin, what's up with it?
why you just dropped the hammer on us like that, man? Holy
Man.
Jesus. Man, my only comment to that is, that's a lot to chew on. That's enough steak for the week right there. But no, I mean, exactly what you just verbalized. Like, I was talking to a friend, and just having that same kind of like realization that, like, man, it's like an information overload, and there's so many different things trying to grab our attention, and so many different things, and it's like you begin to try to filter out the distractions versus like what you're teaching us. Like, what is it that I want to do? How do I want to live my life? And yeah, I mean, you just dropped the hammer. That was a whole Jesus.
So to Justin's point, for all of us, I think I've explained it. I don't remember if I explained it here, but I know I explained it several times this week. There's a difference between sight and vision. So when we're talking about what should I do or what should I not do? Well, everything you're doing has to be, you want to have, what are you doing everything you're doing for? What is your vision? What is your end goal of what you want? Have you ever let a little kid dress themselves and they're wearing a turtleneck, a football helmet, some basketball shoes, and just a 1,000 different things, and you're like, what are you doing? Right? Why are you wearing that? But the kid wears it because they don't have a vision, they just have sight. It means that everything they put on as an individual item. They did not think about how all this was going to go together. It's not for an outcome of an end. It's that they can justify everything that they put on because my dad bought me this belt, or I'm going to play football with Justin later, right? Jeremiah's going to put on his helmet and be like, yeah, my dad and I are going to the backyard, right? And then Cynthia says, not in your church clothes, you not? You're like, yeah, but mom, I want to look nice when I go out there. So every individual thing that we put on ourselves, we can justify because of who gave it to us, what we're going to do later, how much we like it. Oh, I couldn't wait to wear it. But when we put all those things on collectively, we realize like, oh, well, I can't go out here. I can't play in these shoes and this helmet, this tuxedo's too tight or whatever, right? And so then we realize that all the things we put on collectively that seem like such a great idea individually, when we try to make them all work together, it's a catastrophe. Right? You realize a child dressed themselves because they only use, and a lot of times as in our minds, we're acting like children. We think that because we can justify each individual action that we take, that is going to end up to a cumulative success. But that can only happen if we start with the end in mind. I know I want to be this. So therefore, everything that I do works back from that because every decision that I make is in reference to this. It's not, I'm here and I'm just going to dress myself up and then look up and see if I made it. So we justify our attempt at success by all the individual things we do, not realizing that those individual things we do don't even necessarily end up to our desired end. We have to work with a vision. A vision says, I'm going to work today. So it automatically eliminates certain clothes. It automatically eliminates when you wake up or when you go to sleep. It automatically eliminates everything shrinks when you have a vision. That's why it says in the book, for a lack of vision, my people perish. For a lack of your ability to see the end of what you want to be, your desire, and see the end of that. That's why we perish, meaning we remain as we are. We die where we are. And when you have a vision, that determines, instructs, and informs your actions, what you wear, when you wake up, when you leave. Everything is determined by your vision. If you don't have one, you'll be doing a series of individual moves that you can justify that still lead you to nothing.
Nowhere. Jeez. That's crazy. You just got inside of my head, Coach Lucky. Like you just, wow. I've been thinking about a lot of this stuff that you're saying, but like, man, it's like we hold on to things, and exactly like you said, like, oh, this, my mom gave me this, and it's like you can't walk outside with that. Jeez.
Right? And just think about what we're walking around with. Just think about all the stuff we're walking around in life with. Right? We're walking around with tutus on and crowns, and we're walking around with gold chains on, helmets on. We're walking around with all kind of stuff that's like, do you see yourself? You look insane, right? You look confused, but we justify ourselves by, but I was up and then I was over here, then I'm in this group, then I was on this chat, then I'm in this meeting, then I'm in this club, then I was over here. And you hear people literally justify each individual action they make by how much effort they put into it, how many different things they did today. And everybody tell them they're out there balling, they're out there grinding, they're out there hungry. There's no sleep. It's like, yeah, but what you got? Okay, what you got? What you got? Nothing. You have nothing. Right? Because there's no vision. None of your stuff adds up to anything because you're not being governed by vision. You're only being governed by sight, and everything you see looks good on its own. Yes, sir.
Thanks, Coach Lucky. That was good, man. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir. Much love, brother. Always. Go ahead.
Parker Bailey.
We in here cry. Well, I'm in here crying. Just grateful. My son just he can't hear you right now. He just walked out the door. He's headed to secure his spot on his school's baseball team. This is the second day of tryouts. He beat his personal record. He beat his personal record twice yesterday at the first session of tryouts. He benched more than the varsity boys were benching. He's a freshman, and he just keeps impressing himself. And as you were speaking this morning, he wanted to listen to music to get himself ready for tryouts. And I put I put my computer in front of him so he could listen to the call while he was getting ready. And he stopped getting ready just to listen and absorb the knowledge that he's been taught. He's been taught this knowledge his whole life, Coach Lucky. And this, just your voice is helping reiterate what he's already been conditioned to understand and what Cassidy has already been conditioned to understand. I don't know how to express gratitude besides just doing and executing the way that we're talking about here. I don't know any other way to express gratitude for the community aspect of this space. Latoya was texting him, you got this today. You got this. Like, my son is a champion. He was born as a champion. I don't even remember everything I wanted to share. I'm just overflowing with gratitude. My heart is full. I'm so grateful. I've been a rock star since I was a little girl. I've been a rock star. I was doing exactly what you said. I had 12 cents over here, 12 cents over here, 2 cents over there, talking about I could do all these things because that's what was taught to me. I was the weirdo, if you will, amongst a bunch of, other weirdos who didn't know they were weirdos. And I'm sitting here trying to fit in with them, and it never worked. And I like standing on my own. I enjoy standing on my own because I've been doing things well on my own. Things fall apart when I start leaning on people who don't have the knowledge I have and start looking to their intellect as truth. I just appreciate so much about this specific call. I sent the link to other people like, yo, y'all need to join. I don't care if you're late. Y'all need to absorb this information because if you're going to stand next to me in any capacity, you're going to have to be a little woke. I can't deal with the slowness. I love everybody, but I can't deal with the slowness. I can't because you're holding me back, and I'm not going to hold your hand. Like you said, if you signed up for this, I'm not going to cry with you when it happened because that's what you signed up for. I love you, Coach Lucky. Vero, I am like literally kissing y'all's feet. And I don't mean that in a strange way. I mean that like greatness can acknowledge greatness. Nobody is better than anybody. Greatness can bow and say, you know what? You are valuable. I appreciate the hell out of y'all. I really do. This is beautiful. Coach Lucky, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I was gonna say one thing. Oh, I tell people all the time that I tell, especially a lot of kids that I work with, whether it's training or teaching, I say, how do you, if you're living with your parents and they're doing everything for you, you don't pay rent, you don't buy groceries, what's the most effective way you can show your parents that you're grateful? And they all always sit there and they listen. And I always say, by the way you live your life. And the way you all live your life is the biggest testament to me that you're grateful for me. Every week, I'm grateful that you all show up. You don't have to listen to me and come listen to my big mouth every Saturday. I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be able to share this with you. Anybody that knows me knows I love to talk about this more than anything, right? And so I'm grateful every week to have you all to share it with. And the biggest thank you that you could ever give me is to show me that you're living well. Not me as an approval, but for me to see that you're doing what you want, that you're being who you want to be, the way you want to be, how you want to be, and you know that that's your right and that's the way it should be. And so that is the biggest form of gratitude anyone could ever show me, is that you have taken this information and become who you want it to be. Then I'm like, man, you out there, you winning, right? So it's my honor and pleasure to you and all of you. Thank you for showing up, and it's my honor and pleasure to share this journey with you all.
So I put this in the chat, but I just wanted to say that in your communication, I'm realizing that I'm holding on to beliefs that were given to me because they were from people that I love and adored, but they're no longer here. And I'm holding on to this set of beliefs that limit my life as a reverence to somebody who's passed on, which makes no sense.
Wallace Waddles said, "You owe no man anything that will prevent you from making the most of yourself." You just don't. You can't. You can't.
Yeah.
If you live your life in inappropriate deference, it's good to say yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am, or yes mom, no mom, yes dad, yes dad. It's good to give people their proper respect in whatever areas of your life that they're involved in. Yes. However, at the very end of the day, they can't be greater to you than you are to yourself. After a while, you have to grow up. It's the only way you grow up. After a while, your word, your voice, your thoughts have to be the most important thing to you. And if that's the case, then you surround yourself, to Sparkle Bailey's point, you surround yourself with wise people, or whether they're people, books, videos, find something that's going to help you be as informed and as aware and responsible for that responsibility as you can. Because it is up to you and it is on you. And not because you're on your own, not because you're an island unto yourself, but because you have the power to control your life. You do. And that is a natural right. That is a reflection of your divinity, is the power to control your life, not other people's lives, not the world. That's all of us in humanity is what makes the world. But you are the God of your life. You are the consciousness of your life that makes you alive. No one else can do that. So to be responsible and aware with that means now you have to become aware of how you're using that. How are you using that responsibility? How are you using that power? How are you using your consciousness? What are you choosing and accepting and allowing to be real to you, and therefore real in your life? Right? Like we talked about, the assumptions, right? What are we assuming? What are we accepting? What are we allowing? What are we expecting to be in our life? And that is on us. We are the creator of our reality because of that, right? So that is not only our passion, but our power, not only our right, but our responsibility. And in order to exercise all of that, we have to become aware. And that's what we're doing here.
Thank you, Coach. Perfect segue, because I wanted to touch on assumptions. You had me at assumptions. I was locked in. I'm always locked in, but I was double locked in when you said assumptions. I walk around assuming all types of things all day long about what this person's gonna do, what that person might do, but with assuming that all things work out in my favor, that's how I live my life. To touch on what Sparkle Bailey said, I always live like, they used to say I live in La La Land. And, you know, I used to get made fun of by my family, like, oh, you're always dreaming, or you always think this and you always think that, because I was just always excited about everything. Like, oh, this is going to happen and that's going to happen. Like, you know, speaking the, I guess, uptick. But, you know, when you're always told, like, calm down, sit down, or that's not reality, or that's not how we live, it takes a toll on your being or on how you show up. So with that being said, when you shared assumption, I was like, I was right. I was always right as a child. Like I knew what I knew. And I let humanity with their what is it, the senses, their five senses, I let humanity dull my excitement. So thank you for sharing assumption. I actually wrote that in dry erase, the marker, the dry erase marker on my mirror. Assumption and the definition, and what am I assuming? Choose assumptions that create my reality. So thank you for that.
That's my honor, my pleasure. And that is why I started off with that one, because like I said, we all have them, whether we know it or not, like it or not, that's involuntary. We're always making assumptions, and our idea and the goal is to choose. And one of the biggest mistakes we make is we take everyone else's assumptions. Kind of like Leslie was saying, we take everyone else's assumptions. We take everyone else's beliefs and their thoughts and their habits and their traditions and their customs. We take everyone else's assumptions and we try to live our life off of other people's assumptions. And then we run into things like limiting beliefs, because then our identity starts to conflict with the information we're running on. It's like trying to put diesel in a regular gas tank. It's just you can't say just because it's gas, all gas isn't the same. All thoughts aren't the same. All beliefs aren't the same. Everything isn't the same. And you have to become very aware of which ones you're accepting, because you put diesel into your regular gas tank and it's not diesel just because it looks like gas, smells like gas. It's not going to,
It doesn't, your car won't.
just doesn't work.
I've seen it happen.
Right. So a lot of us, the mistake that we make is that we allow other people's assumptions to be the information we run on. And the goal here is to consciously choose our own assumptions and talking to yourself all the time. Everything and everyone is working for my highest and best good. So homework, I'm actually going to say this real quick before I let other people get on. Homework. I want everyone to talk to themselves for 10 minutes. 10 minutes every day this week. I don't care if you do it on the toilet, the shower, in the car, wherever is where you can be uninterrupted. 10 minutes of talking to yourself. And people can call them affirmations or whatever, but you call them affirmations, assumptions, but talk to yourself for 10 minutes about things about your choices, about what you're choosing. For example, everything and everyone is working for my highest and best good. Everything and everyone is always working for my highest and best good. Everything I set my hand to prospers. I have the victory in all things. I'm a money magnet. I'm a good success and good idea magnet. Everything I touch turns to gold. Whatever, you can say whatever you want to say, but for 10 minutes, set a timer, whatever you need to do, every single day for 10 minutes, you just talk to yourself. Uninterrupted. So like I said, if you need whatever you need to do it while you're walking around the block, do it while you're in the car, on the bus, the train, and just, if you're by yourself, you can say it out loud. If you only got people around you and you can get a little space, say it under your breath, but 10 minutes of talking to yourself. Choosing your assumptions of assuming what you want, choosing what you want. Everything is working for my highest and best good. Everyone is working for my highest and best good. Right? Everything is working for me. I have the victory in all things. Man, I'm a magnet for good news. I'm a magnet for good ideas. I'm a magnet for wealth and success and prosperity. Right? I get paid just to exist. I always have large sums of money coming to me out of thin air. Right? People are always looking to help me and support me, whatever else it is, 10 minutes every day. All right. Next, who else we got? Better hurry up, because I can always keep talking. You know me. Better hurry it up. I mean, I don't want to keep talking. I want to hear what everybody.
Close it out, Coach. Give us 15 more minutes.
Okay. All right. So let's see here. What else I want to talk about today? Okay. Everything. So we talk about affirmations, and we talk about talking to yourself. And really what affirmations of talking to yourself are designed to do is, well, Who can tell me what are affirmations? What are affirmations? And when we talk about talking to ourselves, meaning the affirmations that we choose, choosing what we're saying to ourselves. What does that do? What is it designed to do?
You declare something.
Okay, what is that for?
Reprogramming your subconscious mind.
Okay, to do, and what is that for?
To make better decisions.
How do you make better decisions?
You're making it real. You're taking it from idea to execution by declaring something.
What becomes real?
The thought.
So what does that do?
Make it true.
Make it true to who?
Me and to everybody else around me.
It makes it true to you. It only makes it true to you. It makes it true to you. Affirmations and choosing what you say to yourself is basically what you're doing is you are repeatedly saying something to yourself to awaken your awareness to what you're saying. How do all of us learn our name? Repetition, hearing it over and over. It wasn't good or bad, right or wrong. It was just Leslie, Leslie, Leslie. After a while, you're like, oh, you must be talking to me, right? You keep looking at me when you say it. You don't say that to anyone else and look anywhere else. So now I'm awakening to this concept called a name, or to this concept called everything is working for my highest and best good. Through repetition, right? What you're doing is you're making yourself aware. You're turning on the light of your consciousness. You're now saying, this is who I'm aware of being, or this is what I'm aware of having, or this is where I'm aware of doing, or this is what I'm aware of. This is what I'm aware of life, of how life works for me. You're turning the light on so that you can see what already exists. When you walk into a room, when you turn the light on, you're not creating anything. You're just turning the light on to see what's already there. So when you're to yourself for these 10 minutes, doing affirmations, people call and all that stuff, what you're doing is you are repeatedly saying to yourself what you choose to see, what you choose to experience, because everything already exists. So now what you're doing is making yourself aware of what exists. You're turning the light on saying, oh, now I see it. Now I can take hold of it. Now I can have it because now I'm aware it exists. It becomes real to me, right? So you are conditioning your consciousness to become aware of something that prior to this you haven't been. So then what happens? When something comes up, that's the first thing that comes out of your mouth. Oh man, I had somebody email me at 10 o'clock and I didn't check it till the next morning, till about 4 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, they sent an email at 4, they want to have a meeting. I'm like, oh God. I'm like, oh, what does this mean? Right? Oh, I was off and running. My assumption board was off and running. They were down the block before I even realized what happened. They were just like a runaway train, boy, they were gone. Right? And I was like, oh God. So I went, oh man, I mean, my mouth got dry, my butt got tight, everything just tensed up. I'm gonna give them command. Look, I'm in it to win it like everybody else here. Right? So I was like, oh God, what does this mean? What do they want to talk about? Why? And 10 o'clock. So I'm like, what could be, why are you thinking about me at 10 o'clock? What happened? Right? So, so your mind just starts going 1,000 places. So I had to catch myself, but I caught the assumption I had, like 10 o'clock means, or if they email me means, or those two together means, right? I had an assumption. I was already off and running. I felt it. I felt my pressure up and everything, as they said. I felt my pressure up and everything, like a cartoon, just went all the way up, right? And so I became aware of that. I was like, okay, wait a minute, whoa. I was like, now, this is something I can choose to go either way. If I really, I'm talking to myself now. If I really am who I think I am, what we talk about here on Saturday, if we really are who we think we are, then this can actually work for my highest and best good. Everything is I still have the victory in all things. So then I had to start reeling it back, right? And I said, wait a minute. I said, you know what? This is working for my highest and best good. I only hear from this person when they want to give me good news. They're only contacting me to hear so they can tell me good news or about themselves or good news about me, right? As far as they're happy to have me or they're happy for what I do or whatever else it is. I only hear from this person when they have good news. If they don't have nothing nice to say, they don't say anything at all. I only hear, and I had to talk to myself because I got this email on Monday and the meeting was supposed to be on Thursday. So Monday, so Tuesday morning when I got the email, from Tuesday morning till about Tuesday afternoon, boy, I was tight. Oh man, I was tight. My pressure was high. My pressure was high, y'all. It was high. I could have been admitted probably, right? So I had to walk myself back and say, wait. Wait a minute. Hold on. You got now. So and then this is what we talk about assumptions. So they sent the meeting. So I assumed it went off the track. Now what was let's see here. Oh yeah, Veronica, the other Veronica, not this one right here, the other Veronica on the screen. Veronica, are you there?
I'm here. Yes,
All
I'm
right.
here.
Now the meeting. What was the meeting about?
Something that was beneficial to you. They always bring you good news.
Yes, but when I got the email, what was the email about?
Inform you that they wanted to have a meeting with you.
Yes, and what was the meeting? What was the meeting supposed to be about?
That I didn't recall.
Okay, I didn't say it. Do you know why I didn't say it?
Why?
Because I didn't know either. She didn't say. The lady didn't say what she wanted. So then why am I all uptight? Why is my mouth dry? Why is my butt tight? Because of an assumption.
Yes.
I'm assuming something she didn't even say. So okay, what? So then I'm talking to myself now. I'm like, okay, well, why she? Well, why she? Well, something's always going on. What did she say? Well, I don't know. Well, then what are you uptight about? Well, it's just the email. Okay, well, what does the email mean? I don't know. Well, what are you uptight about? I'm going on and on like the Three Stooges, or like in my own mind. I'm saying, I literally am uptight about something that I don't even know what I'm uptight about. Like, it wasn't like, I want to hire you, or I want to fire you, or I'm literally going 100 miles an hour over something, and I don't even know what I'm going 100 miles an hour over. That's why I asked you, what was the meeting about? I didn't know any more than you do. I didn't tell you because I didn't know. But literally, boy, you would have thought I did if you'd have saw me after I read it. You would have thought she wrote a whole paragraph firing me, or saying I don't want to use your services, or it could be anything. But the point is that I assumed that. And I ran off with a whole story about without a topic. She didn't even say one thing about what she wanted. So my whole point was that, okay, well, if I'm assuming, I do what I did, what I'm telling us all not to do. If I'm assuming, why am I assuming against my own best interest? Why am I assuming the outcome I don't want? And look how quickly I did it. Look how easily I did it. Right? And so I said, and then I realized it was literally an assumption because I couldn't even say what I was defending myself against. She didn't say nothing. There was no title in the email or nothing. Right? I just automatically took off running. 10 o'clock
Coach,
at
I do
night.
that as well.
Right? We all do it. And that's the point, is that we're always assuming something, but we're not usually doing it to our highest and best good. We're assuming that if we eat this, we're going to get sick. We're assuming that if we don't work, we can't get paid. We have a whole bunch of assumptions and don't even know. But Charles and Harry running around in LA, and they ain't worked, anybody seen them work? Anybody see them at a job? Like, we have all these assumptions, and we can point to someone who literally defies that assumption, and yet we still gonna roll with it. So that's why I say those 10 minutes matter of talking to yourself, because I do that so much that I was able to catch myself quickly enough where I said, you know what? And I changed my assumption. Every time I hear from this person, it's only good news. They only reach out to me when it's good news. They love to tell me good news about themselves or about me. They only reach out to me when it's good news. So two things happened. One, I caught myself and I changed it. And then two, what it did was it allowed me to set a standard of how I want to necessarily not only deal with this person, but how I want to deal with everything overall. You know what? People love to reach out and tell me good news. People love to do this or do that. I got to set a standard for myself. Everything is working for my highest and best good, right? I have the victory in all things. So it allowed me to set a standard in my life, that it came from this one scenario, but I was able to set a standard that I could apply to life in overall in general, right? So our assumptions, we have to be clear on what they are and make sure that we are talking to ourselves so we can start becoming aware of the assumptions that we want to become, so that we can start seeing the life we want. So we can start seeing the life we want in our five senses. Becoming aware consciously is what creates reality, so-called in the five sense world. So yeah, assumptions, big deal, big deal, big deal, right?
So earlier in the chat, Renette said the other day I assumed others would act as I would, and it cost me. Now I have to fully be who I know I am. I am not my mistakes. I am must-see TV.
Mhm.
And what I thought was funny is Monique said that all of this happened to you in like 30 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, I was off and running, boy. I was
Okay.
off and running.
I have a question.
Yes.
For the homework, would scripting the 10 minutes
Yeah.
be the same concept?
Yeah, because it's all the same thing. You're doing it.
That helps me focus.
Yeah, you can talk to yourself, you can script, you can visualize, you can do whatever works for you, but it's 10 minutes of literally consciously choosing what you're thinking and choosing things that you want to think, how you want your life to go, how you want to act, how you want people to respond to you, how you want your business to go, how money is to you, how health is to you, whatever else it is. But it's 10 minutes worth of conscious choosing, conscious assuming. I didn't need no proof. That lady didn't even give me a title and I was off and running. So you don't need proof that you can get paid to exist. You don't need proof that you can have $10,000 in a month in your business only working 2 hours a week. You don't need proof for anything. That's not what an assumption is. An assumption is a belief without proof, but you can believe anything without so-called human proof. Humanity needs proof. God is the proof. Your consciousness is the proof, and it is the prover. What does it say? I'm not a son of man that I should lie, nor a son of man that I should repent. God don't be like, man, my bad. Oh, man, I thought you, man. Oh, man, my bad. I sent it to the wrong address. Man, I'm going to talk to them about that. No, your consciousness always gives you what you believe you are, down to the last drop, right? So that 10 minutes you can use any way you want because it's all to do the same thing, make you aware. It is to raise your awareness of being something, whether it's what you are, what you have, what you do, how things go for you, which is to consciously choose your expectations. So you can do it today, you can do it in the morning, you can do it at night, you can do whatever is good for you, but it's got to be 10 minutes. I would say and you can split it up, like you can do 5 and 5 if you want. I would say first thing in the morning is really good. Get to your thoughts before they get to you. I would say 5 minutes in the evening is really good. So you can fall asleep with something you love, just like you would with someone you love, right? Fall asleep with something you love, an idea that turns you on that you love. Like, yeah, I like that. Fall asleep into that. Or shoot, in the middle of the day when something looks like that email I got, you better start talking. Because there's no doubt in my mind that what I got, which was her coming on the call, being 20 minutes late, telling me she was going to be late, being 20 minutes late, and then just said, hey, we haven't talked in a while. I just wanted to catch up, see how you were doing. The call lasted 5 minutes because I asked her how she was doing. Otherwise, it wouldn't have lasted but 2. But I went from Tuesday morning looking real strange and crazy to Thursday afternoon like, oh man. But it's because I know without a shadow of a doubt that my faith rewarded me, meaning what I assumed to be true became true. There's no doubt in my mind, because it took me all of Tuesday to get my mind back together. I'm gonna let y'all know all of it, right? Because I was like, oh God, right? But I learned and I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna brush that off and now I know. And I just started talking to myself more and more, and it gave me a chance to set a different standard in life.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
How much does repetition come into play with this? Because I'm thinking like, is it better? Personally, I think it's better to repeat one phrase a lot more than a set of phrases a lot, just because it would impact you more. But what do you think?
You have to do what's best for you, because it's for you. It's coming for you, from you, for you. It's literally, it's for you, right?
True.
Some people drink water or drink liquids when they eat. Some people don't. Some people eat fast. Some people eat slow. You have to do what's best for you, because when you do what's best for you, you're going to get your intended outcome, right?
Right.
Sometimes I'll just say one thing for an hour. Sometimes I'll just say, a couple different things, but they all kind of go together. Does that make sense? Like I'm a magnet for good news and good success, or I'm this or I'm that. So the point is that you choose what works for you. If it's just one thing, because you may have one particular thing on your mind, and you may say, "Look, that's when I got that email from that lady. It was one thing. You know what? She only reaches out to me for good news. Every time I hear from her, it's only about good news, right? I wasn't saying 10 things then because I had a very focused. I was doing it for a thing. Sometimes if
Right.
you're just talking in general, right, you can feel more general and you're just talking about good things for yourself. You're just so-called praying for yourself. You're just talking over yourself. But sometimes you want that thing, say that thing that represents that thing for you.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
that makes sense.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to the morning meetup in the building. Shout out to the morning meetup. Like, we over here showing up. I love this. This is dope.
Yes. Thank you all. As I always say, thank you all for coming. It's my honor and pleasure to run my big fat mouth up here and to have all of you to share it with. As I always say, this is my most favorite thing to talk about in the world. And I want you all to become must-see TV. You're all individualized for a reason. It's all one consciousness, but you're all, what does it say? Doesn't it not say in your book that you're all God's sons of the Most High? All of you, all of us have the same abilities. We're just different. We have the same power, the same force, but we just apply it differently based on our individuality. So there's no one that can be like you. You don't have to compete with anyone. You don't have to beat anyone. You don't have to overcome anyone. All you have to do is be you. You is enough. No one else can be you. No one else can do what you do the way you do it. So there is no such thing as competition. That's not a reality. And the word competition actually means, etymologically, it actually means to work with. Doesn't mean to work against. To compete actually means to work with. But that's a whole nother story. We'll do that next week or something. But be the star. Be
Wait.
must-see TV.
You can't say stuff like that and then skip over that. Say that again, Coach Lucky. Don't play with it. Like, say that again.
Compete.
Because
So the word compete actually means to work with. It means you're working in concert with somebody, in unison with somebody. That's what the word actually means. It means to work with someone. It doesn't mean to actually, they've changed it to make it opposition, but it was actually to work with. That's what the original word means, to work with someone, right? So you're not against anyone. It's only you, right? That's why you're the only one that can be you. So how can you compete with somebody who's not? It's the way we use it now. How can you be against somebody if someone else be against you? They're not you. How can they outdo you? You're you. How can they outdo you? Right? But so saying all that to say, be the star of your own show. Focus in on what you are and what your gifts are and what you have, what you want to be. You have all the power to do it. That's what makes you you, right? Focus in, be the star of your show. You don't have to have 1,000 different things to be wealthy. You don't have to be up all night to be wealthy, right? You decide, this is who I am. I am wealthy. I am prosperity. I am abundance. And this is what it is, right? And you do those things that you enjoy. They're natural to you because they're you. They're physical expressions of who you are inside. And you'll see your wealth come up, your business will come up, your health will come up, your happiness will come up, your time will improve, everything. Because consciousness is, my yoke is easy, my burden is light. Nothing's hard for God. Nothing's hard for consciousness. Nothing's hard for the highest level of thought. And that's what you are. And when you remember that's what you are, you'll start thinking like it. Start thinking like it, you'll start acting like it. And you'll see, man, your sauce is sold out. You'll see people can't get enough of what you have to offer. You'll see you be beating them off you with a stick, right? It'll be Black Friday every day on your site or in your business or with your company, right? Everybody be lined up to get what you got because there's no one else who has what you have to offer, right? So, hey, definitely thank you all. Happy Saturday. Have a wonderful week. As always, apply it. Apply it. Get your 10 minutes in. It doesn't have to be limited to 10 minutes, but at least 10 minutes. Get it in. Repeat it over and over and over and over. Choose what you say. Choose something that turns you on. Choose something that you love. Choose something that reflects your physical desire to be and assume you are that. And say it over and over. Just like you learned your name and it became what you know, you will, when you repeat these things over and over, they will become what you know. And everyone will call you what you call yourself. Everything will look like you call yourself. Your world will look like you. It always does, right? So, hey, have a wonderful rest of the day. Thank you all for coming. Have a great weekend, great week, and we will catch up next week.
Thank you, Coach Lucky.
thank you so much.
My honor and pleasure. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.